Good evening. This is the Elliott Wave update for the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100 for Thursday, November 3rd, 2022. Market continued to move lower today, breaching its low pretty quickly after the opening, and then basically traded in a fairly small range for the balance of the session. But it does give me an opportunity to kind of catch up on how I'm going to label this. And so I want to begin here with the S&P 500, and we're taking a look at the hourly chart to begin. And what I want to bring to our attention is that I've been attempting to just count what is it coming off, and it's this quick zip up that we did on Fed Day yesterday on Wednesday. And it just was rejected so quickly, and then I'm going to consider it an anomaly, and I'll tell you why. When I take the whole thing on a closing basis, which would be the line chart, it's gone, and if I open this up, we can see 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks as if we're still within this minor wave 1 down to kick off intermediate wave 3. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and now we're looking for a 5, or the 4 is still in progress. Now, having said that, if we can come over here, we see it even more clear. 1, A, B, C, 2, the 2 could be here, but I'm putting it there. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 3, A, B possibly, and we're going to get an additional rally. We'll see, but there's a stronger possibility that it's all done. So let me go back to the candlestick chart, and we see that. But it didn't close up there. There's no body of the bar up there. It was a quick fat finger push or whatever the situation was, up and back. All within, I could take this all the way down to, let's see how long it took. Where are we? We have to go to yesterday, and we got to back this up a little bit. Not going to do it. Let me go to the 2-minute chart, see if I can get on. Actually, I can see it on the 5-minute chart. We see that it kind of went up. It did do a bunch of junk, but I am still going to allow it as a 1 and a 2. This just was kind of interesting and very strange. And the only way that I'm able to really put it into context is pretty much the way I just did. That it was, the wave 2 ended here, and if this is 1, and then we get a 2, and it was just so quick and so bizarre that it fits so much cleaner. And even if I went down here and just took a look at that line chart, it might be a little bit different. It shows it. If anything, we're beginning this would have been A, B, C for 2. If I open this guy up a little bit, that could fit 1, A, B, C, A, B, C. Very possible, but it's strange because it's coming in this way. So no matter how I intend to count it, it's not necessarily fitting cleanly into the count. But when I bring it back out to that hourly chart and open it up again, it's all gone. So if we go on a closing basis, that's what I use sometimes. On the candlestick basis, we had all that noise in between on a 5-minute chart, which did nothing to the hourly chart unless I put it back on to the candle and it shows it went up and it came down. It does not show all the rest of that in small internal movement. So for the sake of the count, for the sake of what I see coming and moving forward, I'm going to use the closing basis. Now, some Elliotticians might say that that's absolutely 100% wrong, and that's okay. it's open for discussion. But right now, 1, 2, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 3, 4, possibly complete, possibly not. We'll catch it in a mere 14 minutes. We'll see how they want to open this and bring things back into line, which could start to force it lower. PayPal came out and reported actually beat estimates, but I guess the forward guidance just kind of struck them the wrong way, and the stock is down over $5 from the close. So we'll see how that affects our markets. In any case, I'm leaving it that we are finished with this intermediate wave 2. We're starting to finish up the minor first wave down of intermediate wave 3. And that would suggest that the downtrend has resumed, the correction is over, and our next step is going to be either to finish this fourth wave, which is why I've left these Fibonacci retracements on the chart for right now, because if it's not done and we turn and we rally a little bit, then we stand the possibility of getting up to 37.72, maybe not even much higher than just 37.60, because that's, if anything, this is where wave A and this is a wave B, and then we get up a C wave, would likely come, possibly, maybe up to 71. I can do a quick, very quick and this again on the hourly chart. So we're just going to try to see what we have coming in. And that's just to the close, and bingo, right here, 37.71. We've got a whole bunch. We've got it from 37.67 to 37.78, 79. We've got resistance that likely will complete and contain if there's going to be additional upside before the decline resumes again. So, having said all that, now I want to take this guy down, and I want to go up one notch to my 4-hour chart, and let's put back in the extensions. So we go up to that August high, down to that low, and back up to this high. Wait, I'm putting it right there. Come on. Thank you. So what we got going on, once we do finish this small wave 4, we have a 5th wave down. Could it be 100 points from where we are? Yeah, it could, because our next support is 36.04. Again, I want to bring this down to the hourly so we can see what's inside. That, again, would be our first support once we break cleanly, which we have, but it was retaken at 37.25. So we have to consider that we got a 5th wave. And then if that is true, then possibly we're finishing up minor wave 1. We'll get a bit larger wave 2. Now, if with that happens, right, and we're getting strong enough signals that we can count the 5th wave as complete, in other words, the minute 5th wave within this minor first wave, so minute 5 of minor wave 1, that's what possibly is going to be in control here once we reopen. And right now, they're going to reopen a little bit higher. That's what this is signaling right now. And the NASDAQ's being signaling a little bit lower. We'll see. That all can change in 10 minutes. Then I still would be expecting. Now, again, once we do finish 5 waves down, we'll be taking a look at running additional, not extensions, back to the retracements from the top of wave 1 to the bottom of minor wave 1, and that'll give us our retracements for a minor wave 2. Right off the bat, depending on how far it gets, we're going to find wherever this tops out would be first resistance. Now we have resistance at the 20, that's the hourly 20, at 37.56. Then we have additional resistance above at 37.94.95, and that is the hourly 50 period EMA. And then right above all that, we've got the SMA on the 50 and the 200 day or 200 period EMA. So we got a bunch of resistance right in there. So I would not expect much if it really can get itself going. Not much above. I don't think it would get back above 3,800. We may. Now, that's taking into consideration that they're going to love the employment situation numbers that'll be due out tomorrow morning pre-market. Add to that it is expiration. It's a Friday expiration. And big on the list, we got Apple, we have AMD, we have Amazon, all of them. They're big, and they made bigger moves today, particularly Apple. Apple was down $6.15 at the close and is already walking itself a little bit lower because they're bidding it up as we get ready to reopen in Globex. But nonetheless, it's going to be interesting because, again, we've seen a lot of activity happen on expirations via Apple. So I will be keeping a side eye on Apple because I trade the NASDAQ, but either you trade the NASDAQ or the S&P, it is still the heaviest weighted stock, I believe, in both, definitely in the NASDAQ. And I think it remains the heaviest weighted stock in the S&P. So could be another very interesting day. But again, if we come down overnight and we get down, I just want to take a peek. And what I'd have to do is go from there. I'm going to put in, I'm going to use that one. Let's just say that this is completing the small four and we're looking for the 5. So I'm going to go to the top of 2, to the bottom of wave 3, and then back up to here. So wave 5, 36.39, 36.48. Most common actually for wave 5 as compared to wave 3 is that it comes in at 0.618. That's 36.50. So that would be pretty reasonable if indeed that's the top of the 4th wave, right? So again, we're saying 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 3, 4, and then we get the 5 now. And that would say that we will head lower. If we're not done, excuse me, and we turn and we kind of return back up towards the 37.60 area, possibly as high as 37.93, then we're going to correct from there, or we'll continue with wave 5 from there. And you would move your extension up to that where wave 4 would be marked as complete. So please remember that. I'm taking it from here and just putting the assumption out there that this completed the 4th wave, the small, minute 4th wave of minor wave 1. That's what I'm counting right now. But once complete, then I'm looking for a minor wave 2 of this intermediate 3rd wave. Then we get our big move. So again, a lot's going to weigh on how the market's going to interpret the employment situation and how that fits in with what Chairman Powell was talking about in his press conference about employment, and that it is robust, and that there's certain sectors that are continuing to hire. And so the jobless claims were a little bit less. So less people are filing, more people are working. Not necessarily good for inflation. Again, as I've been stating, I'm all in favor of people working and people being able to provide for themselves and their families. It's very disheartening to see a lot the people that end up really getting hit harder because they either lose their job, they can't find a job, and then they're trying to live in an inflationary period on a very substantial decrease in likely their income. So people working, good thing for us, and I think in the humanitarian level, bad thing for inflation. So that being said, a lot will depend on tomorrow. And then again, it is an expiration. So it's how they want to play this all out. And what I thought they were going to possibly mark Apple up a little bit, it's not. It's now going to be down close to $1 from where it closed. So it's not looking real promising right now. But outside of all of that, we have our larger, the intermediate third wave. The first marker for that is 3604, 3605. Now, if this fifth wave is going to equal that third wave, well, then we're going to end up down at 3581. That's where it's equal. And then we'll break right through that support level. That's just the first support level for the intermediate third wave. Doesn't mean that's where it's going to complete. It's where it takes a rest. Remember, we're counting out the individual internal waves, and they also will react to these support levels. So very possible what we'll be completing is minor wave one. Maybe. We have a lot of points in between. But then we have 50% at 3507, 618 at 3411, but remember it's intermediate. So minimum we're looking at 3097. And that's where wave three, intermediate three, would be equal to intermediate wave one. More likely though, it's going to end up down here. We'll get it, like I said yesterday, then we get an intermediate four, intermediate five, and that's the one that brings us down into these levels. Now we're into that area that I've been talking about forever, which is this primary fourth wave. That's the area that I'm expecting the cycle wave A to bottom. But with that cycle wave A bottoming will also be a primary C wave, and that's really what we're putting in right now. We're putting in a primary C wave, which will complete the primary part of all of this initial leg down. But at one level up, or 1 degree up, it completes that cycle wave A. Then we're going to get a very, and I keep telling you, a very kick butt, sustainable, large cycle wave B rally. And that will carry a lot of potential and be expected to really bring things up pretty high and take a little bit of time to get there. We're talking like from here, this was January of this year. So we're into November. So we've been declining for we've been correcting for 3 months. That's 3 months. Wow, Michael, where's your head? 11 months. So to consider that we might have maybe a year, and then we're going to be in a B wave. And if it took a year to get down to the bottom of A, even if we just do simple, maybe a 6-month B wave, at least a 3-month B wave, I'm going to say at least that. But because people are so desperate to buy, I would suspect that it's going to flip and fly real quick. Might look something even like this. This is a different wave structure. I'm not looking for 5 up. I'm looking for an ABC up to form that B wave. It does carry the potential, by the way, where it could go all the way back up. It can go it's for certain, I would think it gets above 4,300. That is starting from way down here. This is going to be quite sizable. All right, so it should be a good rally. Back to what we're looking at right now, there's still some more intense downside to be expected. And that, I think, will kick in again as soon as we open. And if not, then for certain, it should start kicking in once we are fully into play tomorrow. Going over to the NASDAQ real quick. NASDAQ's actually in the same type of a pattern, same deal. I took it to the line chart, which is closed. It counts out much cleaner. So I'm saying 1, 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 3. And that is minute 3 of minor wave 1. We have a fourth wave. It's kind of really sketchy and iffy. We're opening down a little bit. Not too bad. Not too bad. Right now, it's dipping below this low, but it could be putting it in. It could be finishing it now, for all I know. And I'm going to just quickly go down to that 5-minute chart, open it up. Let's take a peek. What's this all looking like? So again, if this is the ABC and that's the minute 4, and then we got 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's kind of sketchy, but this is corrective. That's impulse. That's impulse. That's impulse. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we might be saying that this is the 4, and here we have the 5, and we don't have to worry about it dropping too much further. but we'll see. We'll see how this all plays out right now. Again, this is just beginning, and we don't know anything in terms of where all of this is going to go, in terms of what we have as far as upside. So again, this could be nothing more than just A, B, and then we get a 5, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. C, that's the B wave. We run back up in a C wave and then drop again in that minute wave 5 to complete minor wave 1. Now, so we continue to have that resistance at 10,870. We popped above it several times today, twice actually, sorry, and came right back below. What we have above that is the 50 period SMA and EMA, and basically right around doing itself at 10,903. So I'm going to call it 10,882 to 903. Then we have 3A2, which again, for a small fourth wave, 3A2, that's the good retracement level. And that's 10,970, 68,970. And I imagine that that should contain it. We come back down, we get ourselves into that fifth wave, but now I want to take away this fourth. Let's put in this one, and let's go with, if indeed this completed, what are we looking at for wave 5? 10,212. But we have a lot in between. We've got 10,630, 10,550, 10,470. And then that 470 puts us below intermediate wave 1, which was 10,485. So that puts us below. That's a goodie. Could end there. We can count 5. We get that low, puts in that new low, and then we're on our way. And it could be the fifth wave finishing, and then boom, we get a minor wave 2. But continuing, we have additional support at 10,412, I'll call it, 10,357, 10,212. Now, we are getting closer to going sub 10,000. Been calling for it for an awfully long time, and it's finally getting itself into that area. Now I'm going to go back out to my 4-hour chart, and I'm going to drop this guy, and we're going to go back and put our larger fib extensions for all of that intermediate third wave. I am going to use this level because that's the one where it ended. So what do we got? Again, our first stop, 10,375. Then right 50%. Again, this is for the intermediate third wave. 991, 50%. 618, 9606. But if it's going to equal wave 1, bing, we're down to 8363. Okay. And I think we'll come in a little bit lower. I would like wave 3 to be the longest wave, or at least longer than wave 1. If not, it puts too much pressure on the count and getting into wave 5, which could be extended and really carry on. So I'd like it to be clean. I don't always get what I want, but that's what I'll be looking for. So if we get down into here, puts in a nice third wave, we get an intermediate fourth wave, an intermediate fifth wave. We're still looking at these areas down in here, right? Because I can go back out to that weekly chart. There we have the primary 4. Again, same deal. I'm looking for cycle wave A to bottom along with primary wave C. And we're looking in this area, which is 6,600 or 6,599, whichever you want to use. But it's actually anywhere inside there, right? So we can come down into here for intermediate 3. We do a 4 and a 5. We're down into here, possibly a little bit lower. Bingo. That's done. And we do a shoot to the moon. Okay, so that remains the little bit larger count. Let's zip down real quick and take a peek at this 5-minute chart. We're going to come in right here. And that is what we're looking at right in here. This is what we're checking out. And we're drifting slightly a little bit below. We're coming back above. So far, we've gotten down to 701. Don't necessarily want to see it come in that much further because that is going to leave this as the 3, as that small wave 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of 3, 4, 5. So yeah, it all could come in. And it will come in higher. And then we'll get into that minor 2 until we'll get the real damage. But again, we have a lot going on between now and tomorrow morning before we sign back in to trade our own session. So we have to leave all of the possibilities open that we could have a stronger down day again tomorrow. And again, on a 5-minute chart, which just means we're just subdividing all the way down. And that wave 5 is subdividing, and that wave 3 is subdividing. And so we've got a lot going on. Stay open to the possibilities. I've laid out the fibs for both the larger wave down, and we're also looking at, we had the smaller, which would be for the minor wave 2. Okay, I am going to leave it there. And the next update will be on Sunday, November the 6th. Have a great trading day tomorrow, and also have a great weekend.